let's just talk about private investors. You are, with the number of assets, amount of assets Blackstone's had, you're a good bellwether for that space, and you hit 1 trillion with about a quarter of that from the retail department you set up, led by Joan Solitar. How important are private investors going to be to get to the next trillion?
Well, I think when I started, back in medieval times, in private equity, there was perhaps one to a maximum of 2% of institutional investors in what we would call today alternatives. And now that number's basically got a 2 on it, so whether it's 20% or 25%. And some institutions, are up at 40%. Meanwhile, sort of individual investors back then were 0, and today they're only a few percent, max. So they're underexposed to the asset class where all of you either work one way as a GP or an LP. And why is it that individual investors who have $80 trillion globally are sort of not really in this asset class because it makes absolutely no sense for them, right? They don't need instant liquidity for their whole portfolios. They can't put their whole portfolios into lockups because neither do institutions. And part of the reason is that the financial advisors couldn't explain that product. Part of it is regulatory. Regulators around the world often feel that they have to protect regular people from successful investments. Now, I don't understand why they believe that. You would think that, for retirement products, almost every pension fund has these type of products, and they're specialists in retirement, right? So slowly, the regulatory environment is changing, and what's really changed now is that the big distributors of product for retail investors have decided there is no reason why retail investors should not have a better outcome. Now, the fact that this has sort of happened is like a big deal. And, we're the leader in doing this type of sale for retail investors or individual investors. And that was because in 2010, somebody came to me at the firm and said, I think we ought to enter this market. We need a specialist sales force, sales and servicing. And I went, how much is that going to cost? Because I didn't see the revenue. And the answer was, it was $10 million a year. We were a smaller firm. And I always hate losing money. It just goes against my grain. And I said, so I've got to spend 10 and I get nothing? I said, why is this a good idea? And they said, well, eventually we'll get something. And I said, I don't like eventually. Can't we sell them something? And so we sold some drawdown funds. But we kept growing that group up to about 100 people. And then there was a sea change where the individual large distributors started talking with us and saying, we really want a major increase for our customers. And so we increased that sales force from 100 people to 300. That's a lot of people, by the way, 300 people. And so we have the best sales and service of anybody. And we started introducing products. We had one in real estate that had like got $70 billion. We have a credit product that now is around 25 and rapidly growing, and we'll have other products, probably introduce one a year, if I had to guess. And the people really like the products. They have very good returns. And each one of the distributors has told us they'd like to do like $100 billion with us. So I feel very happy that we took this risk, if you will, of investing in this area, and I think it's inevitable that individual investors will want to get the same outperformance that institutional ones do, and they're doing so.